So you're getting ready to kickstart a new business. You've got a product, you've got a business plan, you've got a business model. What you need now is a powerful brand to really catapult your marketing to a global level. Well, we at Ultimise are experts at global branding, and I'm here to share with you tidbits and tips about how you can create a truly powerful, memorable brand. So I welcome you to the first in the series called Countdown to Branding Eminence. 5 strategies and 3 checklists for building a billion-dollar brand. I'm Jonas Anderson. Let's get rolling. 8 do's and don'ts for developing dope global brands. We're going from 8 and we're counting down to 0. So here we go. The first do is do keep it brief. A truly powerful and good brand should not be longer than 4 syllables. In fact, if you can get it down to 2 or 3 syllables, that's even better. Now, a lot of names have been used up, obviously. And so maybe a 2-syllable brand might be a bit expensive to purchase or to find or to think of because there are a lot of elements to making a brand. But I believe that you can create a unique and powerful brand that is under 4 syllables. Now, of course, the classic examples that we have before us of powerful brands around the world, number 1 would be Google, 2 syllables, unique, powerful, and it just stands out. It's become a verb, it's become a household name. But it started with a branding process. And then there's brands like Adidas or Skype. You'll notice that these very, very powerful global brands tend to not be longer than 3 syllables. Now, we at Ultimise also created a brand for a fintech project called Susnova. Susnova, limited to 3 syllables that are easily pronounced, and Susnova comes from sustainable innovation. So we created a new word from these 2 words, and I believe that many people can notice that in the brand from the very onset, Susnova. The second do is do keep it simple. Simple and straightforward, easy to remember, easy to pronounce, easy to say. And we've got examples, of course, of this as well. A classic example of a powerful brand is Kodak, and Kodak has actually been considered a case study for a new form of branding that's actually outlived the company. And that's because this was one of the first companies that decided to create a whole new name. Didn't mean anything, it just meant what it was. It was able to define the brand, and the brand was defined by this name, Kodak. It was built on the principles of why do we need to use an existing word, an existing name? Chances are they've already been used up. So with Kodak, the principle of it is it's short and it's easily pronounced anywhere in the world, Kodak. We've also got an Asian brand called Uniqlo. It's quite a cleverly created brand, and I believe it comes from unique, obviously, in clothing, so they came up with the name Uniqlo, 3 syllables, nice and straightforward and meaningful as well. And then, of course, there's brands like Pepsi, very brief, very simple, very easily said, all around the world. Now, the third do is do make it meaningful. It's not just whatever, even though you may create a new brand, but you should have a brand story. If there's a new word being created for your brand, what is the meaning? What's the background? How does that brand support your message, your company, your organization? This is an important thing. You've got to have a brand story. So here are some examples of that. Classic brands like Netflix. Netflix, of course, internet, flick. New name, Netflix. It's unique. It's fully owned by them. It's unique to them. Or Instagram. Instagram wanting to project that very classic image, taking an old thing like an Instamatic camera and putting it together with something else old, which is no longer in use, Telegram, and creating a new word, Instagram, which is uniquely theirs. And very meaningful. Minecraft, a gaming platform, which of course comes from mining and craft. So they've actually had that ingenuity, that innovative ability to create new names out of existing things so that they have a unique but very meaningful brand. And the Ultimise team has also created a number of very unique but meaningful brands as well. One of those examples is Plastolix. Plastic, oil, and X for technology or industry. And this was a brand for a plastic to fuel innovation technology. So this new brand was created with that in mind, trying to communicate those things within 3 syllables or less, and we have a unique, fully owned brand called Plastolix as the result. The next one is do make it universal. Brands should function in as many countries as possible. And this can be a real challenge because, of course, in your founding market, in your first market, you want it to be powerful and meaningful there. But this is a startup we're talking about. We're talking about you launching a new product, a new company, a new brand. So why limit it to your local area? Let's build a brand that can easily and quickly expand globally. And we've got examples of that in, for example, Dell. Dell, I'm confident, can be pronounced in most countries in the world, in most languages in the world. It's very universal. Same with Toyota. Now, Japan is kind of lucky in this. It seems like most Japanese words are quite easily pronounced anywhere in the world. It's Toyota, Honda, Kawasaki, Yamaha. You can pretty much say them in any language, anywhere in the world, with slight inflections and variation in the intonation or how the pronunciation happens. And then, of course, there's Coca-Cola. It doesn't need to change when it goes to a certain country or a certain region. The name can remain no matter where you are. That is creating a memorable, universal brand. Now, at the risk of contradicting myself, the next do is do make it local. Of course, as much as you've got your sights on an international market, on a global expansion, still you have to think in terms of your primary market, your local language. And when you move into new territories, you've got to do your homework to find out if that brand communicates in that territory. Now, for this, we've only got not great examples. And that is, for example, Pinto. Pinto is a classic example of a challenge when expanding into a new territory because Ford had created the Mustang. The Mustang is a very powerful brand. It has that symbolism of a horse. A Mustang, of course, it's meaningful locally, it works internationally. So then they expanded to another model and they wanted to call that, keeping to the horse theme, they went to Pinto. All good, all fine, slightly smaller, it seems to be meaningful. However, once they moved to South America, they weren't successful. They weren't getting orders, they weren't getting sales, until they found out that Pinto in Latin America means small genitals. So naturally, the men down there, in their love for cars, may want to pick another car than Pinto. We've also got something that comes close to home. I'm Swedish, and most people have seen or heard of Ikea, of course. One of the unique identifying elements of Ikea furniture is they like to brand the individual products with Swedish names. Some of them are very common words in Sweden, but of course, once they've expanded to a new market, those words have no meaning there. But it provides this Swedishness that expands across their product line. This does pose problems in some markets and with some products, as in this case, fartful. Now in Swedish, fartful means quick, speedy, which fits with a workbench, but as soon as you go any English-speaking place, you've got problems. But this is not limited to international markets. It happens in the US as well. I saw this online. Pass more gas and propane. Well, they didn't do a lot of homework there. Something that you should not do. Don't be commonplace. Make your brand exclusive. Create a brand that you can fully own, that is unique. Now, some marketing people would argue with me here, but I am confident about this. If you're going to create a new brand, if you're going to launch a startup, make the brand something that's not commonplace, that's not something that's been done before. We've got countless examples of these amazing startups with really, really good brands. And this is a key to actually being able to take your brand to a level of recognizability very early on. Examples of where this has not worked is I just Googled the word Green Hills off the top of my head, and sure enough, there's all kinds of things that pop up when you search for Green Hills. A lot of people like words like success, wealth, riches, and all that stuff, but you can count on that it's been used before. Smart is another top hit these days. Oh, smart this, smart that. It's very hard to create a memorable and unique and fully owned brand if you use terms which have been used for centuries possibly. Take the time, create something unique, make something that is yours and yours alone. that you can proudly take to another level. And in case you don't believe me, according to the information I found online, 72% of the world's top brands use an original word or name in their brand. Now, some people will say, no, if you create a new name that doesn't really mean anything, that's not found in the dictionary, you're going to have to pump millions of marketing dollars into a campaign to create a recognizability because that's what Google and Facebook did. That's not true. Google was a tiny little startup of a couple of guys on college. Same with Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg started it in his college days, but it was catapulted to a powerful global brand very quickly. You can create a startup with a unique name and bring it global very quickly. It's been done countless times. The next point is, don't use alphabet soup names like acronyms or abbreviation names, different letters all jumbled together to create something. Please listen to me on this one. It's not a good idea. I went and searched the letters BS online. Sure enough, there's a company called BS Company. Need I say more? STD Express? Your express to getting STD? Not exactly going to help your branding and marketing. Or this from Britain, actually, an English language country, bad, healthy skin for all. Another problem that you face when you're using acronym names or alphabet soup names is that most likely it's been used before. These guys called their product UN. I don't know how they're going to fight with the UN in Google, in the news media, and all kinds of places. If you want to show up on page 1 of Google search results or Bing or whatever search engine you use, you've got to come up with a unique name that can be owned fully by you. And within very brief span of time, you will show up very quickly on the front page. And finally, please, don't plagiarize, don't copy, have some pride, think big, think global. If you create something unique, something big, you can easily catapult that to the global stage in no time. You can be taken over by some big corporation. They might buy you out if you've got a unique business, but they're not going to buy your brand if it's not something powerful. That's our first in the series called Countdown to Branding Eminence. I hope that you'll stay with us for the following episodes in this series. We're counting down from 8 to 0. Now, if you're at the threshold of launching a startup company, you've got a great business plan, you've got a great idea, great product, but you need some help with your branding. You are not confident that you have what it takes to truly build a global brand. Well, we here at Ultimise are ready to stand by you and help you through that process and provide you excellent ideas. We've got a great track record of creating powerful and unique and memorable brands, and we're ready to work with you to create your unique and powerful brand that's ready to take your business to the global stage. Until next time, I'm Jonas Anderson, and this has been Countdown to Branding Eminence.